Hey, thanks so much for clicking on this video and welcome to the Haves and the Have-Nots review here on YouTube. If you're a fan of Tyler Perry, you've come to the right place. Be sure to click that subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content on the channel. And also check me out on these social media platforms, and links in the description below will lead you to my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook group, and Facebook page. Once again, thanks for joining in and enjoy the video. All right, have not fans. Now, just finished watching The Committee. I'm going to be completely upfront. This was not a good episode. I took my notes as usual and everything. I was watching it. I was tweeting, but to be completely honest, this episode just felt off to me. I mean, I felt the scenes weren't really matching up. It felt like Tyler Perry just dumped a bag of scenes on the table, and instead of putting them together in a puzzle format, I feel like he took, okay, I got to fit 25 pieces into this puzzle. Here's 25, and we'll put them together. Let's just break it down. I'm going to be honest. I'm giving this episode a 5 out of 10. This was not a good episode, which is a very, very, very reverse situation compared to last week, where I could not stop talking about how The Chosen was such a fantastic episode. I gave that a 10 out of 10. This one, I'm barely giving it a 5. So we pick up where we left off. David, the EKG, we're in a situation where, okay, cardiac arrest, he has to be rushed into surgery. Madison comes out of the room, is talking to Jeffrey when he really shouldn't be. Then Justin butts in, and then Jeffrey shuts him up. Next thing you know, commercial break. It felt like we only got 30 seconds of the show before a commercial kicked in. Then, after that, we see Michelle Williams showing off that damn ring for like the 5,000th time. And then all of a sudden, it felt like I was watching cops or the FBI came out of nowhere, then kicking down the door to the hitman's house, and we finally got confirmation it was the hitman's house that they were going to. I think they threw some smoke grenades or whatever through the window. They arrested him, and even though it was an intense scene, I was really distracted because I'm like, where the hell did this come from? Like, we knew the FBI was investigating the bombing and everything, and I even speculated in my episode review, well, it was pretty dumb for one, Veronica to call the same hitman in order to take out Jeffrey and RK, and then two, the FBI is watching your house, meaning that they're going to watch people who go in and out of your house, so why are you going to invite the same guy that bombed the car to your house in the pool boy outfit, which is exactly what he was wearing when he was apprehended? So it was an exciting scene because we've been waiting for it since a while for the FBI to do their thing, but it felt so out of place because once again, we get like 30 seconds of the beginning of the episode with David and his situation. Then the next thing you know, FBI is just, the transitions were wonky, guys. That's all I gotta say about that. We go back to the hospital. Jeffrey going off on Justin. I didn't notice this the first time I watched it, but I went back and watched it. When Jeffrey slapped that cup of coffee away, was that an empty cup? I don't think I saw anything flying out of that cup. I think it was an empty cup. I mean, there's nothing to say here. Justin I don't know what it will take for this guy to get it, but apparently he's still on the fact that it's Jeffrey's fault that he's in this situation he's in, where he's given up his entire life to be with him. And Jeffrey is pretty much done. Now, one could argue he is being agitated due to the fact that his father is possibly on his deathbed. So the last thing he needs is this guy trying to, be all up on him. And it's one thing for Justin to be sincere and it's like, hey, I want to be with you during this rough time because your dad is going through, surgery. But at the very core of it, Jeffrey got down to brass tacks and called him out on his bullshit because the only reason Justin is around is to make sure Jeffrey isn't hanging out with anybody else or Madison. That's literally it. And he says, I'm going back to our apartment. I don't know. Honestly, I tuned out. because I don't know if it's an apartment or house. I honestly don't give a damn. I know somebody in the comments will tell me, but I literally don't care. So Justin is gone. He's gone for the rest of the episode. Then we go back to the hotel. Candace is packing her bags, planning her escape. Benny shows up. Once again, talking about the money, yada, yada, yada. Gosh. Look, guys, I want to apologize right now. I know you're not used to me being like this because you all come to me for, a recap of the episode. I just had no interest in this episode. Like I'm looking at my notes here, but I don't have that thrill or anything because nothing really happened that I didn't either see coming or just felt was complete bull crap. Okay, so Benny's talking about how I didn't sign the paperwork. Candace is like, I know you didn't. Oh, how did you? It's like, oh, don't worry about it because remember Wyatt called her in the last episode to tell her what happened. Candace is like, I skipped town, but I don't have the money. And Benny's like, well, even if I wanted to give it, I want to give you the money, it won't work because mom is on the joint account. And then Candace tries to throw the blame on him. And again, just no, like you should have known. The fact that she didn't know it was a joint account was very stupid. And I felt that was a bad writing plot because Candace is usually on top of everything. No pun intended. Like she knows everything. She has to be dumbed down for the sake of the plot. So Benny threw it back at her because if you remember, the mortgage was taken out in order to save her for her, save her life from Quincy or a pimp. I forgot which one. And then go back and watch season 1. That's when they almost lost the house and Candace was able to pay it. But basically, she has concocted a plan that I feel is not going to work. She wants Benny to go to the bank and then they'll apply for a loan against the account. They'll use the money in the account as collateral tomorrow morning. I'll get to timing later on. So basically the plan is, hey, you have like almost $9 million in the bank. Let's go ahead and take out a loan. Number one, I have no idea how much the loan is for, but for some reason, I feel that money is not going to be in there when they apply for the loan, or it's one of those situations where they'll apply for the loan. Everything seems hunky dory, but next thing you know, the money is gone. And then they're screwed because, well, that means the bank can take whatever they want. But to be honest, I don't think Benny or Hannah have anything at this point. I mean, they only have what Hannah gave them. And that is a terrible idea. Yeah, this loan idea, I will admit, at least it seems that Candace is going to not send anybody else to Hannah's house. So that is one good thing. But I just feel like, once again, this is a plot point that should be immediately dropped, but it is still going on for whatever reason. Landon comes in, throws the pink dress at Candace's bed, and pretty much tells the story about the last woman that Charles picked. Pretty much took her from a rag to riches story. She refused to be with him, and nothing was said about her again. I don't know if it was a scare tactic, but obviously it worked because at the end of the episode, she shows up at the restaurant, but I'll get to that later. The hitman calls Veronica on the phone. Apparently, she never paid him. Didn't she throw like a wad of cash at him back when she gave him the address and whatnot? I think it's when she first hired him to come over to her house, gave him a picture of David and Erica, and he's like, well, where's my money at? Because he doesn't really do stuff unless he gets paid first. And I could have sworn she threw a wad of cash at him that he picked up and walked out of the house with. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm going to be completely honest. After Veronica hung up on him and we had him talking with the FBI agents, I was like, oh, snap. Some people were telling me, what if the hitman is actually undercover for the FBI working against Veronica? And the way the setting was, I'm like, oh, what if it is? But no, it's not. So apparently they don't even believe the hitman's story that he did the job without being paid first. So they don't have enough evidence to incriminate Veronica or arrest her. So when they went out into the hallway, they were planning to, well, the white dude, I forgot the names. I honestly didn't give a shit. The white guy was like, let's go see if we can arrest her anyway, see how smart she is. As soon as he said that, I'm like, okay, this guy is no better than George trying to bring down the Criers. He is literally going to come up with some flimsy excuse to put Veronica down, and then it's going to blow up in his face. So once again, we had a scene that just felt completely out of left field. Let's see here. Hannah is back at the house. We don't know if she took the bus. We don't know if she accepted Derek's ride back to the house, but Derek's following her around, so I could only imagine that she took the bus. Just speculating. Looks like she's packing things up, and I'm just like, really? And in the next episode preview, it looks like it's Benny stuff, not hers, so whatever. And we get a sweet scene. I will admit, this was like one of the first scenes I just stopped and, felt interested in. Derek talking with Hannah about, 2 weeks at the Bahamas. I'm like, yo, Derek, go ahead, step it up. Because what was it? The last time you offered Hannah a vacation was this weekend, let's go to the beach because I have a beach house. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But no, it's 2 weeks in the Bahamas and he's paying. And Hannah, being Hannah, is coming up with like every excuse under the sun. I don't have any money. No, I'll take care of all of it. And then we get to it's only a one bed, a king size, and a cute little scene about, look, I'm strong, but I'm not dead. That was pretty funny. I will admit I did chuckle at that. Then they started kissing on the couch. But unfortunately, we did not see any tattoo or any shirt come off. So darn it. But again, one of the better scenes of the actual episode. And I think Derek really said a good line here. It's like, Hannah was like, oh, we can get to know you better. We can get to know each other better here. And it's like, well, how can I get to know you better if all you keep saying is no? That was a good point and a good line. And I need to use that in the right context, of course. Woo. Okay. David's going to be fine. The doctor comes out to talk with Jeffrey. Madison gives him another warning about domestic violence and how, Justin, this situation is not getting better anytime soon, and that's pretty evident. And just like David talking about, I'm okay, Jeffrey says he can handle it. Yeah, because having guns pointed at yourself and at your obsessive lover is definitely handling it. Broderick calls Catherine. I'm going to assume the same room he was in was the same room he and Catherine were in earlier that same day. Considering he was touching up the room, sprucing up the pillows and whatnot. Was he still in the room? Because remember he said he would leave a few minutes after Catherine left, so I would think that he came back up to the room to straighten things up, pretty much follow up after housekeeping, because that'd be pretty weird if he just stayed in the room the entire time that Catherine spoke with Candace, went back to the house in the last episode. So, yeah, that was weird. But in any case, he called Catherine on the phone. Jim got jealous. Basically, they're going to meet up tomorrow morning. And in the preview, Catherine is taking control. Wyatt comes down to call George. He wants to leave, so he's bitching about it. He's talking about how Jim has a court order on him, and he's like, have a statement. George isn't having any of the crap, none of this phone tag. And basically, George is going to try to find a way to get that court order lifted or something so Wyatt can leave the house. Okay, let me just talk about this. Catherine is furious because, basically, they're going to be screwed if Wyatt talks. So Jim is doing everything in his power, and he even mentions how Wyatt is looking better, which explains somewhat why he's not weaning anymore or in pain about not having drugs. So basically, Jim is trying to save his son because the Malones are out to get his ass. Basically, if he steps out of the house, he's a goner if they find him, and they probably already know where he is. But instead of being grateful, he's being a prick as usual and threatening to throw his parents under the bus. So even if theoretically, okay, Wyatt, let's pretend your parents go to jail, you get your money. How the hell is that going to protect you from the Malones? It's not. So you're going to die. Okay. Next scene. Jeffrey sees about David talking about, he's on his chest again. I'm okay. Go back to my house and check on Erica's stuff. Get her information and contact her family. That's pretty much it. Runs into Madison in the hallway. They go on the elevator. They go to the house and yada, yada, yada. FBI goes to Veronica's house. They're waiting on her as she comes down the stairs. Apparently, Alice let him in. Terrorism is a word that's being thrown around in this show. We got it, terrorism when it comes to the bombing. I think the Secret Service even mentioned that to Benny when he was interrogated about his connection to the Malones. Veronica wasn't having that crap unless they were going to arrest her, then, get the hell out of her house. And then they left, which made the entire FBI scene completely worthless. Literally nothing was accomplished in that scene. All they said was somebody told them a lot about her, but that might have been implying the hitman. But even when the FBI left the interrogation room, it seemed like the hitman was going to drop down on Veronica because, number one, he hadn't been paid, and number two, she wasn't going to represent him in court. Yeah, this FBI shit, this was almost as annoying as George trying to get Wyatt to say that his parents were seen with a gun when he didn't see it. They're the freaking FBI. You would... Oh, God. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to get into a rant. I'm sorry. Two more scenes. Candace shows up at the restaurant looking fine in that dress. Another great scene of her walking into the restaurant. I have no idea what the hell is going on with Charles. This was an awkward ass scene because it's like, I can understand Candace's confusion because when somebody tells you it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Somebody tells you a story. Let me just think back to school. Somebody tells you a story about a teacher, about how they're a hard ass and whatnot. And, they're a tough grader. They're mean, stuff like that. And then you nervously walk into the class, but then the teacher is nothing like what that person said. And it's like you want to leave, but then you're afraid of repercussions. But then they say it's okay. You're free to do what you want. Then you leave anyway. But then you're more nervous after you left than you just staying there because you don't know what's going to happen. So, yeah, that entire scene was awkward as hell. I have nothing to say about it. I literally have no idea. I mean, you're probably like, well, Jeremy, in the preview for next week, well, look, when I do my episode reviews, it is strictly on the episode itself. I don't talk about the episode preview for next week until I do the episode preview video. I can only talk about this episode itself. This scene just felt weird as hell. I have no idea. And if I'm not mistaken, talking about wacky transitions, 1 minute it's kind of like daytime or afternoon when Jeffrey and Madison are leaving leaving the hospital. But then we go to the next scene at Veronica's house when the FBI is there, and it's the middle of the night. So right on top of that, it's like, the transitions in this episode. Then my TV, the cable started blinking out on me, so I missed half of the conversation. But it stopped right when the car pulled up to David's house. I got some, but not all of the conversation with Madison talking about his dad, who's an architect or something. Found out he was gay, and then he started drinking. Again, I could be wrong, but keep in mind, my cable was flickering out, so I wasn't able to get all of that dialogue. But then the episode came back as Jeffrey, and then we're going upstairs, looking through the purse. The big question is, what the hell did Jeffrey find in that book that he found in one of Erica's purses that he put in his back pocket? Maybe that's going to be something we get in the finale, but based off the finale preview, I don't think so. Madison, Jeffrey talking about how, I actually had a crush on you in school. Talk about the bully Bobby. I'm not going to lie, the way they dropped the name Bobby Schaefer so many times, he might actually appear. Who knows? And he said like he might be in prison. Now, what if Jeffrey goes to prison and meets Bobby there? Dun dun dun. And Bobby makes Jeffrey his peaches. That would be hella ironic, but I could see that happening. So basically, they start kissing at the end. Veronica walks in. Who the hell are you? And folks, that is the episode. The Committee. 5 out of 10. I'm going to be honest. After going through that review and realizing how much I hated the episode, I'm thinking about dropping the 5 down to like a 4. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm going to be completely honest. The finale had better be good because this episode was not. So let me know your thoughts on this episode. Do you think my score was too low? Honestly, I did not like the episode. It feels weird for me to say. I feel like me reviewing this episode, I feel like I'm at that same level of energy whenever I used to talk about the Pains. This was not a good episode. It did have maybe 2 or 3 good moments, but that's it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let me know your thoughts on the episode itself, and be aware that it is about 10:30 right now when I'm finishing up this video. So tomorrow morning or afternoon, I will definitely do my episode preview for the finale, Exhausted.